How's everything going today?
Brother, everything is going great. I got my man John in here. We were just talking earlier when I had more customers.
What's going on, John?
How's it going?
Cool.
That I know this brother's family, and he was one of the brothers that welcomed me well to 13th and McKean. So here we are on this side of things. We still doing what we do.
Okay.
But of course, we were having a good conversation, so I'm thankful that John is not shy.
Right. Right.
And what we're going to do is just finish what we were saying.
Oh, okay.
This is what our hairstyle, and we always talk straight. And the reason we put it on is because we feel like if people can just talk straight and let people be who they are, what they are, you know what I mean? The world can be a better place because, unfortunately, we're never going to be all the same, walking around like, clones of each other. God made us very, very different. And what me and John, I would like to say, do is just celebrate the differences. I always got to put things into words. John just looks at it like, see, you're cool with me. It might be not cool with other people, but I'm feeling it. But we were talking about people getting the wrong idea and putting bad names out on people. And the people that one of the people that we're talking about is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Right.
And we were having an intense, accurate conversation about how people perceive you based on your answers. And John said, that you can speak for yourself, John, but you gave me a new term, call it a word salad. I just want you to go into that part.
Yeah, so when you get faced with accusations of being an anti-Semite or anti-white, and the minister has to respond to that, he, like I said, a word salad. It seems to me a convoluted answer that might take 6 or 7 minutes or 8 minutes. That people, especially now, really don't have the patience to listen to. And he, I think in that case, hurts himself with those accusations. In other words, what I was saying before was just tell me unequivocally, you are not an anti-Semite. You are not anti-white or anti-anything else.
Right.
Instead of going on the defensive and giving this long answer that people just don't want to hear. Just tell me straight up.
Now, of course, in the minister's defense, that's what I'm going to do. He did say, I'm not a racist. Many, many times before. He did say, I'm not an anti-Semite. Many, many times before. But when you have people that have power to reach many, many more people than whoever's listening to your little answer at the time that you're giving it, they can continue to play and play and play over and over again. He is. So now you have people all over the world hearing these false claims. So the minister, being the giant that he is, when he speaks, he has to speak on many different levels to many different people, and that's where you get that full answer from. He don't start the answer off dodging it. If you look at any Minister Farrakhan interview, he's not dodging any question. So he'll first flat out say, I am not that. I am not anti-Semitic. I am not anti-Jewish. Right? I'm not a racist. And he'll explain that, and I'll put this right here, but he'll explain that he's not that, and then he goes deep into the reason that he's not, because people really not going to let you just get away with just saying, I'm not that.
Sure.
Let's move on.
But the minister's a smart man, right?
Right.
A very smart man. He has to know that he needs to be careful because people might misunderstand or misconstrue on purpose his words, right?
Exactly.
So he does himself no favors by saying what I said earlier, that I'm not anti-Semite, I'm anti-termite.
Right.
What it sounds like there, if you don't know the context of the clip, right, and you just played that clip.
That's right.
That means, what does that mean? It sounds like he's just replacing the word Semite with termite. Termites aren't good things, you know what I mean?
Right.
He is too intelligent to be that loose with his words, knowing
And I heard him
there's
say it before. that he feels that he could say it in a better way. But in the heat, and I don't want to cut you off, that's why I pause. But in the heat of a debate or the heat of an interview, you know, when you know that people trying to trap you, and he's a warrior and has a warrior spirit, then he may say something like that, letting them know that you're not going to make me do what you make a lot of other black leaders do, and that's bend and beg and try to be accepted. So he might, in a humorous way, bring a little levity to the interview and say, I'm not an anti-Semite. I'm anti-termite. But you're talking to a man that's been speaking for 62 years and proven himself for 62 years to be exactly who he is. And when you have a man that's been doing that, and you have interview after interview after interview, Mike Wallace, Barbara Walters, Tim Russett, and all of these different people, he feels that he answered this question over and over and over again. So if you keep asking the same question over and over again, then eventually, I mean, and this is just me, looking at what I'm looking at, I don't know, the minister himself would have to, you know, say exactly why he said what he said, but me being a longtime follower of the minister, I feel like I know him enough to say that he's showing them that I'm not afraid of you, man. I don't have anything to prove to you either.
Sure, but
and whatever you're trying to say to me, it's never going to break me because I'm God's man. But go ahead, what were you saying?
But that's in an interview. Right. The reason those questions keep coming up is because every time you see a clip of Farrakhan, and it's not the full 2.5 hour, 3 hour speech or whatever, what do you hear? The satanic Jew, the white devil. Well, you have to understand how that's going to be perceived. If that's not what you mean to say, then don't say it.
Well, you hear Revelation chapter 2, verse 9, you know, where Jesus says in the book of Revelation, those of you who call yourselves Jews and are not, ye are the synagogue of Satan. So when he quotes that scripture, is he anti-Semitic or is Jesus anti-Semitic? Because the same people that believe, and that's why this is so deep, because you're not into the scriptures like that. I like to say that. So it's not like no checkmate on you. But it's people that say these things, they claim to be Christian. And they claim to believe from cover to cover that this Holy Bible is true. So why do you have a problem with it when he says it, but you don't have a problem reading it when Jesus is saying it? Well, so he's a man.
I didn't know Jesus said that, but I'm not cool with that either. You know what I mean?
I understand, but it's in there.
There's plenty in the Bible I think you could look at and be like, that's not cool. So no matter who's saying it.
I understand. The question really is, what are you saying? You know what I mean? When you make a statement like that. You know, and what I believe, again, and what we're taught in the scriptures is that God will give you that land. It will be a people that after 400 years of slavery, this people would be given land, but it would be given to these people by the Messiah. And I don't believe the Messiah appeared in 48? You know what I mean? But the Jews started working on Palestine around that time.
Okay.
So we have the right to debate that peacefully, like what we were doing earlier before we turned the tape on, when my man Anthony was in here. It's a beautiful thing to be able to disagree, and God willing, you know, when we're finished, we always finish the way we always start. You my man. So these people are trying to guard the minister from the masses of people. And if you don't have time to watch the whole video, then to me, I would have to say you're too biased to even hear this man anyway, and not you, because you've already watched whole videos. But the 30-second soundbite people, they don't want to agree anyway.
No, that's true. My only point there is that being as intelligent as he is, he should understand that there are sound bites.
Right.
And saying, even if it's perfectly good context and everything, if you say words, satanic Jew, you are going to hear about it. And not in a positive light. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the reason Jesus said, for my name's sake, many of you will be evil spoken of. Some of you will be put into prison, and some of you will even be put to death for my name's sake. So don't try to spare your life. Whoever tries to save it will lose it, and whoever gives it will receive it. Now here we got a man speaking for 64 years because he don't try to save his life. He just tells us the truth. Let the chips fall where they may. He's still around. We have black leaders that may have dodged that scripture, and they're not here with us anymore. So that's how I see that. You want to add, Kyle?
I'm just listening right now.
Okay. But I have to say, I feel like in this country, black people and white people, John and myself, we and my other customers, we represent what America really should be. We're not big on John is white and Z is black. John liked the way I cut his hair, give him nice lines. He came in at 13th and McKean. We talked about that a little earlier. You want to go ahead into it, John? The reason you came in the first time?
Oh, yeah, I wanted to shape up. My mom took me to the hair cutter. I was 11 years old.
Okay.
I had pretty long hair at the time, considering what I have now. And they just pulled my bangs down, and their version of a shape up was just a scissor straight across the bangs. So my mom saw Z on the corner and said, that's a black barber. He knows how to do a shape up. I've come to Z ever since.
So you know what? I have to say, and I'm thankful that we even have YouTube, and hopefully they don't throw us off of this too. But it's a beautiful thing to be able to say that what he just said is America. That's how I see that.
I want to ask
John.
John
He wanted a haircut.
He
wanted a haircut. He's not looking around feeling like somebody's this or that. He wanted a haircut, and in America we can make these moves and these decisions.
I want to ask John a question. So you said Brother Zebulon has been your barber since the age of 11. So just like being in an environment. I mean, I know you're from South Philly. South Philly is diverse, but being in an environment where you're in a barbershop of a Muslim, particularly one who's under the guidance of like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, how has that been for you? Has it been educational at all? What words would you use to describe your experience?
Everything's educational.
Okay.
My introduction to Farrakhan was do the right thing, and then I heard Z start talking about Farrakhan. So that was when did you join the nation, Z?
Well, I started talking about it hard.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you put the thing up and everything. Yeah. Okay, so around
the time what must be done on the wall.
Yeah. So I guess around then I started to see what the dude was all about. Watching hours and hours of videos. So it's I'm not religious at all. I'm agnostic at best, atheist at worst.
At worst.
Meaning, I wouldn't call myself an atheist because it's just impossible to know, but certainly agnostic. I don't subscribe to organized religion. Seems to me that the scriptures are man-made, not divinely inspired. But to answer your question, of course it's been educational. Anything is educational if you let it be.
That's heavy.
That's very heavy. But everybody's just going to get a chance to see what I'm blessed to be around all the time. John's, I mean, because he's a younger man, he may appear to be real nice and humble, and he is, I would say. But he packs a wallop. Looks can always be deceiving, because a lot of times people, because of your age, may think that you know a certain amount and no more than that. But we got the tape on. So what I was basically saying is, when they hear your answer, your answer is not what they expect. So it's just a blessing, because it's been educational for me. And like I was saying earlier, God put me in South Philly, 13th and McKean. And my son, you know, I feel like it was a major blessing and it made me who I am. Now my son is going on his prime real quick. I want to make sure they don't run out of here without that. You know what I mean? So I'm going to let you go ahead and ask John something real quick. Because I got to at least get one picture.
Yeah, definitely. So what was your initial perspective on Minister Farrakhan? So you said you watched some videos first.
Yeah.
Before you met.
Had a Quran as well.
Right. So yeah, what was your like initial perspective?
It's tough to say because it's I did find myself hearing language of the white devil and things like that. And I don't take any offense to that. I know white people have done some horrendous things in history. I'm a big fan of, I shouldn't say fan of, my favorite thing is the Civil War. I love the Civil War, so I'm no stranger to...
You like history.
I love history, but specifically the Civil War, so I'm no stranger to how black people in this country were treated. At the same time, I'm against any kind of generalization of people.
Okay.
And I find that with Farrakhan sometimes, that painting a broad brush, you know, the white devil, while it doesn't offend me, it's going to turn a whole lot of people off real quick. And it seems that persists to this day. I mean, I follow Farrakhan on Twitter, so I try to keep up with what's going on because I come to Z every 2 weeks, so I have something to talk about. And it just seems that it's always there, these generalizations that I think got us in trouble in the first place.
I hear you.
Now I heard the tail end of what you were saying, so I don't want to jump in and say something that is not right. But John and I talk a lot about how, you know, you always say how to minister, if he just made it a little more plain, it would be harder for them to throw this dirt on him. And the fact that he doesn't kind of leaves him open. Well, our teachings is what it is. We talk about the nature of the white man and the nature of the black man and how both natures are necessary to perfect humanity. So I must say again, in the defense of the minister, because he's not here, and we believe that what he was taught is true by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And what he continues to teach and go further into is true. So we have never, and if you've seen a video, because you said you watched a lot of Farrakhan videos, I've been looking for a video where they asked him the question, what do you really believe about the white man being the devil? Is this what you teach and is this what you believe? I have yet to find, other than Tim Russett, the interview he did with Tim Russett, I believe it was Channel 10, and I believe Tim Russett got in trouble for asking the question. Tim Russett is not with us anymore. But he asked the minister about that, and the minister gave a nice, quick, precise answer. He said, most of your scientists today subscribe to the teaching that the black man is the original man. And out of our race, other races came into existence. He said, all we're doing is telling you that you're right, and we're explaining exactly what took place, how that happened. So right after he said that, instead of Tim Russett saying, well, please enlighten us, let us know how it happened, he went right on to the next question. But other than Tim Russett, I can't remember anybody else wrestling with our teaching in any way, shape, or form. It's always you called Hitler a great man. It's always you called the Jews synagogue of Satan, and you know, anti-Semite, anti-termite. There's that kind of trashing of his character that you get in the interview. Never really, what do you teach? And he's asked for his day in court, where we can prove what we believe, and they have not given us that. And that's one of my motivating reasons for even trying to do what we're doing now. Because I believe that he's not a racist. But why would I follow a racist? But I know I'm not And if he's a racist, and if he's dangerous, and I'm following somebody like that, that would make me a racist. So I got the right to stand up for myself and say, that's not what I am. I just believe that what he teaches is true. So I put up on my wall, time and what must be done. All questions asked with pure truth and supreme wisdom. So I got that on my wall on 13th and McKean, and it was open, and that's why we started talking like this. For anybody who had questions, I felt like me not being a follower mentally, but a follower at heart. And I'm a leader personally. And every good leader has to know how to follow. So I'm that kind of follower that I can answer your question. In the name of God and His Christ. And I feel like I know both. But what were you going to say?
I don't remember. To be honest.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Went on.
But we were talking about, I was on 13th and McKean, and I put it up there, all questions answered with pure truth.
What was right before that?
Where was that before that? Yeah. I was talking about the minister and how they put it out there that, the teachings of
right.
They don't never go into our teachings. The minister said, give us our day in court.
Right. Well, so back to, you said something about the interview where they pressed him on the Hitler question.
Right.
Now that, to me, was an instance of just little journalistic integrity. Because great doesn't mean good. Great means impactful, important. And you can't deny that Hitler was impactful.
Right.
Time magazine gets in trouble every year, or not every year, because they had Hitler as the man of the year, or the person of the year.
See?
But that didn't mean he was the best person of the year. It's not like winning a Nobel Prize. It's saying this is the most important person this year. So Donald Trump might be person of the year. That doesn't mean we're saying that he's good. It means that he had the most effect on us.
You good? Cool. Always. Lines. All right. One thing about John, I have to say, once his haircut is done, you get no more knowledge until the next day. I'm out of it. Even when nobody's there, I want you to finish. But he's ready to roll.